If you are treating your HSA like a medical checking account, you may be overlooking one of the most powerful retirement vehicles in the entire tax code. Because in specific scenarios, an HSA can outperform a Roth IRA. Not always, not universally, but mathematically, under the right conditions, it can be superior. Today we are breaking down HSA investing as a stealth retirement account, the 2026 contribution limits, how to invest inside an HSA properly, and the common traps that quietly destroy its advantages. Let's start with the core concept. An HSA health savings account is available only if you are enrolled in a high-deductible health plan, an HDHP. If you qualify, the government gives you something extremely rare in finance, triple tax advantage. First, contributions are pre-tax. They reduce your taxable income. Second, growth inside the account is tax-deferred. Third, withdrawals for qualified medical expenses are tax-free. That combination is unique. Traditional IRAs are tax-deferred but taxed on withdrawal. Roth IRAs are tax-free on withdrawal but funded with after-tax dollars. HSAs give you both if used for medical expenses. Now let's discuss 2026 contribution limits. For 2026, the projected limits are expected to be approximately single coverage, $4,400. Family coverage, $8,750. If you are age 55 or older, you can contribute an additional $1,000 as a catch-up contribution. These limits adjust annually for inflation, so always confirm the IRS announcement each year. But at roughly $4,400 or $8,650 per year, over 10 years that becomes meaningful capital, especially when invested. Now here is where most people get it wrong. They contribute to the HSA, then leave the money in cash earning almost nothing. That defeats the purpose. An HSA is not just a spending account. Most providers allow you to invest in mutual funds or ETFs once your balance exceeds a certain threshold, often $1,000 or $2,000. If your HSA is invested similarly to a retirement account, broad market index funds, low-cost ETFs, diversified allocation, it can compound for decades. Let's walk through the math. Assume a married couple contributes the family maximum of $8,150 per year for 10 years. That is $87,500 in contributions alone. If invested at a 7% average annual return, the account could grow to roughly $120,000 or more by the end of that period. Continue compounding without withdrawals, and over 20 to 25 years, that balance can become several $100,000. And here is the strategic twist. You do not have to reimburse yourself immediately for medical expenses. You can pay out of pocket today, save the receipts, and allow the HSA to remain invested. There is no deadline for reimbursement under current IRS rules. You can reimburse yourself years, even decades later, tax-free, as long as you kept documentation of qualified expenses incurred after the HSA was established. That turns the HSA into a delayed reimbursement vault. Now let's compare HSA versus Roth in plain English. With a Roth IRA, you contribute after-tax dollars. If you are in the 24% tax bracket and contribute $8,000, you already paid taxes on that money. With an HSA, if you contribute $8,750 and you are in a 24% federal bracket plus state tax, you may save over $2,000 in taxes immediately. So Step 1, tax deduction today. Step 2, tax-free growth. Step 3, tax-free withdrawal for medical expenses. That is why, in a purely mathematical sense, the HSA can beat the Roth if you use it for healthcare spending. Now here is the critical reality. Healthcare is one of the largest retirement expenses. According to multiple retirement studies, a couple retiring at 65 may need hundreds of thousands of dollars for healthcare over their lifetime, including premiums, out-of-pocket costs, prescriptions, and long-term care components. That means the probability of using HSA funds for qualified medical expenses in retirement is extremely high, which makes the triple tax advantage practical, not theoretical. Now, what happens after age 65? At 65, the HSA becomes even more flexible. If you withdraw money for qualified medical expenses, it remains tax-free. If you withdraw money for non-medical expenses, it is taxed as ordinary income, but there is no penalty. That effectively turns it into a traditional IRA at 65 if you choose. So the downside risk shrinks with age. Now let's cover how to invest inside your HSA properly. First, keep only what you need for short-term medical expenses in cash. Many investors keep 1 year of expected out-of-pocket costs liquid. Second, invest the rest in low-cost, diversified funds. Broad U.S. market ETFs, total international funds, or even a balanced index fund, depending on your risk tolerance. Third, minimize fees. Some HSA providers charge monthly maintenance fees, investment fees, or require high cash thresholds. If your employer-sponsored HSA is expensive, you can often transfer funds to a lower-cost HSA custodian while continuing payroll contributions to the employer account. Fourth, automate contributions. The tax advantage is strongest when contributions happen consistently. Now let's discuss common traps. Trap number 1, spending the HSA every year instead of investing it. If you treat it like a flexible spending account, you lose compounding. The stealth retirement power disappears. Trap number 2, not investing the balance. Cash drag over decades is significant. Inflation erodes purchasing power. Trap number 3, poor record keeping. If you intend to reimburse yourself years later, you must maintain documentation. Digital storage of receipts is essential. Without documentation, tax-free reimbursement could be disallowed. Trap number 4, misunderstanding eligibility. You cannot contribute to an HSA if you are enrolled in Medicare. Contributions must stop once Medicare coverage begins. Trap number 5, overcontributing. Excess contributions trigger penalties. Always verify your eligibility months and contribution limits. Now let's talk strategy sequencing. If you are deciding between traditional 401k, Roth IRA, and HSA, many financial planners suggest this order. First, contribute enough to your 401k to get the full employer match. Second, maximize HSA contributions. Third, return to max out 401k or Roth depending on your tax strategy. Why prioritize HSA? Because of the triple tax advantage. However, this depends on your liquidity and health situation. If you cannot afford to cover medical expenses out of pocket, using the HSA annually may be necessary. Financial stability comes first. Now let's examine the scenario where HSA clearly beats Roth. If you are in a moderate to high tax bracket today, expect meaningful healthcare costs in retirement, and can afford to invest the HSA without tapping it, the math favors HSA first. If you are in a very low tax bracket today and expect much higher taxes later, Roth may be more compelling. This is not ideology. It is tax bracket arbitrage. The phrase stealth retirement account is accurate because the HSA is rarely marketed as aggressively as IRAs or 401ks. But structurally, it is one of the most efficient accounts available. And remember, unlike FSAs, HSAs do not expire annually. The balance rolls over indefinitely. Over 10 to 20 years, consistent max contributions plus investment growth can create a substantial healthcare war chest, reducing pressure on your other retirement accounts. Which means fewer forced withdrawals from your 401k, which means potentially lower taxable income in retirement, which means greater tax flexibility overall. That is strategic positioning. Now, final perspective. An HSA is not a replacement for a diversified retirement plan. It is a complement. But for eligible individuals, it may be the most tax-efficient layer in that plan. If you qualify, understand the limits, invest the balance, document expenses, and think long-term. Because retirement is not just about income, it is about controlling taxes, managing healthcare risk, and designing flexibility. And in that framework, the HSA is not just a medical account. It is a precision tax instrument disguised as one.